Greene knows bodybuilding is a science. Get the science right with muscle meds.
Leg curls. We did seated leg curls. Another movement I thought was pretty intense. I don't normally do those on my own. Charles introduced those to me today. Again, I trust his wisdom on that. And man, I tell you what, if my hamstrings could have got off the bone and went and just hung out in the front of the gym, that's what could have happened, because it was very intense, man. I was almost more than overwhelmed. I believe that is almost a compound set, man. I really do. Between the leg curls and the walking lunges, that was good night, Irene. Especially, you know, the way I try to do my lunges, I really try to concentrate on contracting my glutes, contracting my hamstrings when going down in the bucket, and even down there, you know, thinking about, you know, doing the pose of a radial bicep with an exaggerated lunge. I remember looking at some old footage of Ed Corney doing a series of muscle flexing poses back in the 70s, and they were accompanied by some other photos of Frank Zane doing some similar shots. And one thing that I noticed about both of those photos was that the foot position that both athletes took in a lot of the shots was a variation of a lunge. They, you know, seemed like, for whatever reason, neither of the two athlete legends in question were, you know, afraid to really step their feet very, very, very far apart in an effort to create, you know, the drama in the pose that I recall seeing. Taking that, having said that, you know, when I think about a radial bicep shot, I don't know if you ever seen like Silvio Samuel on stage from the rear, you know, doing his radial bicep shot, but man, technically that is what it is. It is a lunge, you know, and thinking about, you know, this kind of stuff is really where I think your mind needs to be when doing that movement. So that's where my mind is. Even though you're going in a forward direction, and you're probably, you know, in order for you to keep the movement out of your quads, because that's not what Charles wanted me to do at that point. He wasn't trying to get me to work my quads. He was trying to get me to keep the intensity on my hamstrings, you know, hamstrings and glutes, you know, hence that's why you're doing the seated leg curl, you know. So while doing this lunge, your mind has to be placed in your hamstrings and your glutes, and in order to do that effectively, you have to be able to flex them. So you need a very sharp mind to muscle connection. So at that point, what I'm doing is I'm building on work that's already been done, you know. Anyway, but we got some lunges done for you. I know they're not the traditional Ronnie Coleman lunges we've seen with like 315 pounds on the bar across my back, looking like Christ, you know, being led through the streets, you know, on his way to Calvary. But, you know, I assure you, on another day, under another sun, I will show you something very impressive with my walking lunges. Today, though, the fact that I had no weight, no bar, no very heavy cross to bear, visibly, you know, that you could see, does not mean, though, that these things were not nearly as intense as they were, because they were, you know, they were very, very, very intense. And I assure you, if you do this movement, you know, in the same sequence that you saw us demonstrate today, while tensing and flexing your hamstring, not like the amateur person that doesn't know, but I mean with the person that has a sound presence of mind, to be able, with really sharp mind and muscle connections between their mind and their glutes and their hamstrings, you will surely see that that is more than, body weight is more than enough to make that movement intense. More than enough. So, you know, the next time you think about seeing a DVD where you see Ronnie Coleman walking down the block doing lunges, you know, with 225 pounds on the bar, you know, believe me, you'll have a new found respect for what the hell that man is doing.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.